Everything around us is energy, and we are the ones controlling it, whether we realize it or not. At any given moment, your brain processes millions of signals. The sensation of your clothes against your skin, the hum of background noise, subtle shifts in light. Yet most of these go unnoticed because your brain filters them out to keep you focused. This filtering mechanism, while helpful, can also hold you back by reinforcing rigid patterns of thought and behavior. Consider the last time you tried learning something new, a sport, a language, or a skill. Initially, it felt awkward and clumsy, but with practice, things began to flow naturally. What changed? Your brain rewired itself, creating new pathways and patterns. This is the essence of energy control. It's not about having more energy. It's about using what you already have more effectively. Imagine driving with a full tank of gas, but with the parking brake on. The energy is there, it just needs to flow properly. By breaking down barriers between conscious and unconscious processing, you unlock abilities you didn't know you had. This isn't just a mental hack. It's grounded in neuroscience and cognitive psychology. For example, try focusing on your breathing. Notice each breath, some deep, others shallow, some warm, others cool. Don't try to change anything. Just observe. After a few moments, your breathing will naturally shift. This simple exercise demonstrates how your brain releases unnecessary control patterns. Your subconscious mind acts like the matrix of perception, shaping how you see and interact with the world. Think of your brain as a supercomputer processing millions of bits of information every second. However, you only notice a fraction of it. Right now, your brain is filtering out sensations like the feeling of your clothes or background sounds, focusing only on what it deems important. Close your eyes for 5 seconds and listen. Most people notice sounds they hadn't paid attention to before. Your brain was always picking up these sounds but didn't bring them to your attention until you focused. This selective attention works like a spotlight in a dark room, illuminating what matters while leaving the rest in shadow. But unlike a real spotlight, your brain can instantly shift focus between senses from sight to sound to touch and back again. Your beliefs and past experiences color everything you notice. If you think snakes are dangerous, you'll spot snake-like shapes faster than someone who likes snakes. Similarly, your brain creates shortcuts based on what you've learned matters to you. These shortcuts can trick you. For instance, a banana under blue light still looks yellow because your brain knows bananas are yellow. It changes what you see to match its expectations. The quantum world challenges everything we know about reality. In our daily lives, objects exist in one place at one time. But in the quantum realm, particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, phenomenon called superposition. This isn't just a strange theory. It's how reality operates at its smallest level. Imagine a spinning coin. In our normal world, it's either heads or tails when it stops. But quantum particles can be like a coin that's both heads and tails at the same time until we measure it. This principle isn't confined to tiny particles. Scientists have observed quantum effects in larger systems, such as tiny mirrors, pieces of metal, and even living bacteria entering superposition. This blurs the line between the quantum world and our everyday reality. Quantum physics also questions the nature of existence. Is something real if we can't observe it? If a quantum particle can be in two places at once until we look at it, what does that tell us about reality? These questions push us to rethink what's possible. Some scientists believe quantum mechanics might explain consciousness itself, suggesting that our brains operate through quantum processes. In quantum physics, the act of observation changes what's being observed. This principle applies not only to particles, but also to how we experience reality. Think of a child playing alone. They act freely until they notice someone watching. Similarly, when scientists measure a quantum particle, the act of measurement affects its state. This has profound implications for energy work. When you focus your attention on energy, you're not just passively observing, you're participating in how it moves and changes. Your observation creates a connection, a bridge between you and what you're observing. This isn't a limitation, it's a tool. By understanding that your attention affects energy, you can be more precise in your practice. For example, if you want to sense energy in your hands, the moment you focus on that sensation, you're already starting to create it. Your expectation helps shape what happens. This raises an interesting question. If observation changes what we're looking at, how do we know what's real? The answer is that everything we observe is reality, just shaped by our observation. Like a dance, both partners influence each other's movements. To harness energy effectively, we must break free of old patterns and illusions. Most of us grew up thinking about energy as something that flows, like electricity through wires or heat rising from a stove. But this is an oversimplification. Energy doesn't move from place to place, it's already everywhere, all the time. What we call energy transfer is really a chain reaction of energy states changing. Think of a light switch. We say electricity flows from the power plant to your home, but the truth is more nuanced. The power plant creates a disturbance in the energy field that ripples through the grid until it reaches your bulb. This perspective shifts how we work with energy. Instead of trying to push energy around, we can focus on creating conditions for useful energy state changes to occur naturally. Neuroplasticity plays a role here too. Every time you try something new, you create new pathways in your brain. These paths can replace old routes that led to limitations. Think of your comfort zone as a starting point, not a prison. Each step outside makes it bigger. Watch out for self-doubt, those sneaky thoughts that whisper, "That was just luck," or "This is too hard." These are echoes of old walls you're tearing down. Breaking free of limiting beliefs takes practice. Start by noticing your automatic no responses and questioning them. Ask yourself, is this true, or is it just what I'm used to believing? The walls of your perception prison weren't built in a day, and they won't come down overnight. But every time you challenge a limitation, try something new, or push past discomfort, you weaken those walls. Your true limits are far beyond what your mind tells you. Think of someone who inspired you by doing something seemingly impossible. They faced the same mental walls but chose to push through them. The guards of your prison are your own thoughts armed with doubt, fear, and old habits. But you hold the key. You can choose different thoughts, take different actions, and write a new story. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about accurate thinking. See things as they are, not as your fears paint them. Notice the opportunities your mind might be filtering out. Your perception of prison might feel solid, but it's made of paper-thin thoughts. Tear through them with curiosity, questions, and small, brave actions. Each step makes you stronger, and each wall you break shows you what's possible.